All right, good Thursday morning, ladies and gentlemen. Man, what a interesting and busy week. A lot of stuff going on. Appreciate Goose helping out, pitching into the fight yesterday as I got pulled in to do a podcast. A lot of great stuff going on. Long Sill, and you want to be Long Sill because I have all the intelligence. Not all of it, obviously. Good stuff, man. Let me kind of bring you up to speed as to what's going on. So we're going to talk about this, obviously, a lot more in depth today because we're in AR. But as many of you know, I went down to Miami Monday for the Psychedelic Capital Conference, and man, what a holy crap! Do I have a lot to tell you? And yesterday, and today, so it was the Benzinga Psychedelic Capital Conference on Monday, and then yesterday and today is the Benzinga Weed or Cannabis Conference. I saw it on CNBC yesterday. They were interviewing like the CEO of Tilray and all these other folks. So CNBC ended up showing up yesterday, which is interesting for a lot of reasons, but throughout the day. So I sat there the entire day, man. It went from 9 to 5, and I got up at 5, and I'll brief you what happened with my stuff. But from 9 to 5, sat there, and every public company in the space and private company gave a brief as to what they're doing, what's going on. Just absolute. I'm blown away. I'm blown away by the entire space. So we'll dig into the investments in a second and stuff like that. But just that was exactly this was an Axe Capital moment. This is so. Let's start at the beginning. Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, opened up the conference, with a little bit of a keynote and a talk, with the skipper of Benzinga, and really interesting because he's in Cybin, MindMed, and Atai. He's like, these, they're the three. This is me paraphrasing Death Stars. He could not be more bullish on the psychedelic space, and I'm paraphrasing because he sounded like me. Clearly, he's never done the medicine, so I know more about it than he does, and I'll leave it at that. But anyway, he did say, and this was interesting because the guy at the end's like, all right, well, you're here today. What about the next 2 days? He's like, nope, cannabis, not even going near it. It's done. It's over. He's like, a lot of Americans look at that as recreational, which it is, but it also has uses. Doesn't matter. He's like, at this point, it's, and he got into RICO things. He's like, as an investor, I don't care how remote the possibility is. People tell me it is. He's like, if I, move money from, like, if it's legal in Colorado and I move money from like Colorado to the state next to it where weed is illegal, I just committed a felony. And I don't care how many people till they're blue in the face tell me, oh, they're not going to. He's like, I don't give a shit. He's like, I will not risk anything. He's like, weed, there's too much legal stuff, this, that, and the other thing. He's like, I'm not going near it. I won't go near it. It's gone. I was like, wow. Because he just torpedoed the dude asking him the question, who sponsors the next 2 days of the cannabis conference. Psychedelics, he's like, I'm all over it. It's got therapeutic uses that I can see. There's scientists. It's not a bunch of hippies. And he's like, I don't want to offend people in the room, which he did, but he's like, I'm just giving you the truth. So that was really interesting to hear. But man, throughout the day, the public company, I met the CEO of Cybin, Atai, MindMed. Because why? Because I went down there in my flight suit, man. The flight suit's a billboard. Had my Top Gun Fighter Foundation patches on there. Walking around the Psychedelic Conference in Miami, people are like, what the hell is a fighter pilot doing down here? And I told them to wait until 5 o'clock so they could find out what a fighter pilot was doing down there. So anyway, anybody know who that is? Well, you can probably read really quickly. But anyway, wow, those pictures suck. There's Daniel Carcillo on the stage there, giving his brief. There's me signing some books. But let me get to this guy. Anybody know who that is? That's Zappy whatever the hell his last name is. The dude was a Wall Street investment banker who, you know, kind of an eccentric dude, left Wall Street with all his money. And I watched, it's weird because like 2 weeks ago, I watched his documentary, In Pursuit of Truth. So write this down and watch it. Why? Because he stumbles into psychedelic medicine, goes to Peru and does like an ayahuasca journey, and it changed his life. So now he's a filmmaker, right? So he went from Wall Street to being a filmmaker, and that will lead us to Lamar. So at the end of the day, and this was my dad's birthday. April 19th is my dad's birthday. It's one of my favorite pictures of my father. Love my father. Let me tell you a story real quick because this is a God moment. When I was a main speaker for a company, a fighter pilot consulting company that, we gave high energy keynotes and stuff like that. I told my dad, I'm like, Dad, I'm giving a keynote in Atlantic City. That's where my dad worked. For GM, General Motors. It was at one of the casinos and whatever, Taj Mahal, Trump's place, whatever it was. And they spend a shitload of money. This was like the Northeast sales, whatever. Hundreds of thousands of dollars on this massive stage and fog machines and lights and lasers and cars on the stage. I mean, this thing was huge. But anyway, I'm the keynote speaker. And, they introduced me and I come out on stage. And of course, I got my high energy video rolling. And people, of course, are clapping because they're like, whoa, what's this? And fighter jets and clapping. But I look at the front, I look through the blinding lights and I see my old man. My dad's at like the head table, standing up and clapping. And people are looking at him like, okay, well, this kid's just getting started. Why would you be standing now? And throughout the keynote, at various times as I'm making my points and walking around the stage and all that shit, I catch my old man in the audience with just the biggest shit-eating grin on his face, and it always stuck with me. It's a memory that stuck with me. And of course, at the end, when I wrapped up my keynote, everybody was standing, including my dad, yelling, "That's my boy!" I remember him. I could hear that clearly. I hear it right now as I tell you this story. So that's me going to the same day as my dad's birthday. I'm down at the Miami conference. So 5 o'clock rolls around, and throughout the day, folks, people, that you can see in the background, this kind of the general session room, right? Standard hotel general session, down in Miami hotel. And as people played videos, I'm like, this just sucks. This is not how you're supposed to do this, right? So I go back to the AV table. And, this lady's like, excuse me, who are you? What are you doing back here? I'm like, I'm the dude that's going to blow this conference open at the end. So here's what I need you to do. I'm like, when I get up on stage, I'm going to talk for 4.5 minutes to the second. And when I say this sentence, let's go supersonic with psychedelics, I want the volume to be turned up 2 decibels below ears bleeding. And I want the house lights to go completely dark. Well, I don't know I'm like, I want the house lights to go completely dark, or I'll do it on my own. I'll find the lights. Okay. So I get up on stage, and I brief who I am. And oh, by the way, before I got up on stage, I went out in the lobby because the lobby is packed with everybody who left the conference, because now it's 5 p.m. As the conference went on and the speakers got more and more doctors, and well, the psilocybe goes into the H receptor, and people are like, done. I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh, hell no. So I went out into the lobby and I went Jesus and the Money Changers. And I said, everybody get in here. That's a direct order. And people are like, holy shit, this dude's like in a uniform. So, and then they had a deal making big room. They had a separate massive room for people it was like a confessional. They had like confessionals all over the place so you could go in and talk like in silence. Man, I cleaned that place out too. And I got everybody into the general session. And I talked for 4.5 minutes and I said, let's go supersonic with psychedelics. Boom. House lights down. I get off the stage. Boom. We roll the most current first look, the extended trailer, it's called. And man, that place was fucking blown away. Some ladies crying, some people, that video stopped playing, and holy shit, people went nuts. I got back up on stage, and it was great. I said, hey, we're all about diversity. That's 5 freaking dudes that went and did this medicine. And I told them, I said, one of the reasons it's 5 dudes who did the medicine is because some of my best friends, female fighter pilots that I called about this project, said, oh, hell yeah, Whiz, we'd love to heal our PTSD. I'm like, great. And they're like, yeah, it ain't from combat, it's from rape and sexual assault. And I'm like, ooh, okay. And they're like, you know what, man? Why don't you guys kind of blaze the trail and kind of we'll let you know. Well, guess what? Sledge put up the bad signal to some of his ladies he knew. I put up the bad signal to some of mine, and they're starting to come out of the woodwork, and we might get them either in the documentary. Actually, it's not a documentary; it's called a docudrama now, or an extraction episode, and people were even more blown away. So, why is Lamar Odom on here? Because Lamar Odom and his producer, Zappy, were taking the stage after me to show the trailer of their movie, which is called Reborn. So why don't you Google Reborn? Lamar Odom is a 2-time NBA champ, right? Just he's like Daniel Carcillo, 2-time hockey Stanley Cup guy. Now I'm best friends with Lamar Odom. I'm going to tell you why we're best friends. And I'm tearing up a little bit because this was incredible. Part of my 4.5-minute intro to our first look was me saying, hey, on the medicine, I got to see my sister, Monica, who was killed by a drunk driver when she was 19, and my dad, who died of a broken heart. My dad died decades after Monica because of a broken heart. And I got to, and you know, again, I'm tearing up right now, but, you know, I told them from the stage how I was able to heal, right? So Lamar gets up on the stage. I've never met the dude in my life. I seen him on the, well, I don't want to admit I watched the Kardashians. I saw him on the news, right? One of the Kardashians, which one he was dating, calling 911 saying, my God, my boyfriend's dead or dying. He's got blood all over his face. He's dying. Lamar Odom, it's national news. Google it, man. Rushed to, you know, they save his life, essentially. He's dead, essentially. He comes back. Guess what he finds? He finds ibogaine. And it completely cleaned the man up. One treatment on the ibogaine. The clip that they showed from Reborn was incredible. I can't wait to watch it. But here's what happened. He gets up on stage and sits down, and he points over to me and he goes, what that fighter pilot just said is true. It happened to me. My son died when he was 6 months. I got to see my 6-month-old son. I got to see him at 6 months. I got to see him as a teenager, and I got to see him grown up. Man, I was fucking blown away. It was incredible. So they got done showing their trailer and stuff like that, and I was, I had tears in my eyes. I'm like, wow, it was incredible. That guy, all 90 feet of him, gets off the stage, man, and of course he's swamped. There's like 50 people around him. They want to take pictures and shit like that. He goes right through all those guys, and I knew what was happening because I saw him. And I went straight to him, and we just hugged. We just hugged. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And we talked, people are still like, yelling and trying to get pictures. I'm like, he's like, holy shit, man. He's like, how long? I'm like, dude, I was down for like 12, 14 hours. He's like, holy shit, man, I was down for 8. We talked, and we are now, he's like, give me your number, dude. I'm like, yeah, sure, man. Let's fucking hang out. It was incredible. It was awesome. Right. So that was, exactly where I needed to be in my life on that day. After that, they had a reception down on the beach and stuff like that, and I was signing books and stuff like that. But the energy at everybody knows, or you should know who this is, Doc Martine. Doc Martine, who runs the Mission Within down in where I did my treatment, where we all did our treatment. He's like, I walked in with Nicole. She's our director of medicine operations and one of our guides. We walk in and Doc's sitting there. I'm like, what the? He's like, oh my God. He's like, I decided 2 days ago to come. I'm like, oh my God, man. So, of course, from the stage, because he was there trying to raise a little money for the Mission Within. So, of course, from the stage, I'm like, Doc, stand up. This guy right there is a lifesaver. And I gave a quick minute before I got off the stage, and that people flocked to Doc too, potential investors. And he's like, Whiz, I can't believe it. Thank you so much for doing that. He's like, you made the trip worthwhile. Actually, I introduced him to Daniel and also Cody. And Daniel, using his MDMA stuff that he's trying to get approved through the FDA, is now going to do his clinical trials through Martine's place. And Martine had tears in his eyes. He's like, holy shit, man. I can't believe you did that. I'm like, I didn't do anything, man. I just introduced you to Daniel, and I figured you guys would hit it off. So what's this have to do with investing? Who the fuck cares? But I'm going to tell you everything. Mr. Wonderful from stage brought up a great point. He's like, Cybin, Atai, he's like, they all, Cybin, Mind, Meditai, they have to merge. He's like, there's no other way. He's like, big pharma's coming, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I still have to debrief with Nicole. She took notes the entire time. I was just like on receive. I'm like, holy crap. I will tell you, I didn't like a lot of things. And here's what I did. And Nicole brought this up to me because, this one company's like, so, with psilocybin, on a normal psilocybin journey, you don't know what the onset's going to be. It could be 30 minutes, it could be an hour, and then you could be in it from anywhere to 4 to 6 hours, and you don't know the come out phase. This one book reader's like, so when we administer the Sil HT 173 that we've just patented, the effect is felt within, a minute, and then this. They're breaking it down to, they're taking, in my opinion, they're taking the sacredness out of it. I didn't like it. Not only are they taking the sacredness of this plant medicine and all the stuff that God put on our earth, they're also doing what with it? Every time, because once Nicole pointed this out to me, every time I heard the P word after this, I shuddered. And this was the P word. Patented. Didn't like it. Well, every dude or lady that got up after that was like, well, our company is working on a patent for X, Y, and Z. So God is pretty damn smart. So God, you can't patent a root. You can't patent a toad. But guess what? You can patent, and I talked to a big pharma executive that was there. I'm like, and it was cool. This is why you wear your flight suit. It's a billboard and you're a magnet. I got all this fucking intel, man. But anyway, the pharma guy's like, because I kind of said that to him. I'm like, I think this sucks. He's like, dude, I get it, but welcome to the farm industry. He's like, well, we want everything around it. The ancillary stuff, the clinics, the certifications, to this, to that, the everything. So it's really, 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 really interesting. So here's my opinion. This will break up into two camps. This will break up into, you don't have to stare at my face. I'm like on a rant and you guys are staring at me. You don't have to do that anymore. We'll break up into two camps. There was places that briefed their retreat center. Oh my God, this one place called Holos, Holos or something like that. It looked like the Netflix series. But here's what breaks my heart, because it's like turning into psychedelic tourism. I don't know. So there's going to be two camps in the. Holy shit! Oh, that's Tesla. I'm like, I entered MindMed. I'm like, so there's going to be two camps. There's still going to be the sacred camp, and then there's going to be the it really hurt. Nicole's brilliant because she's like, yeah, this is America. We want everything now. Me, when I was sitting on that beautiful mattress overlooking the Pacific in Mexico, trying to do the 5-MeO DMT, the process of and the sacredness and going through it and everything like that, they want to kind of boil down to, well, you put this underneath your tongue and it'll react within 12 seconds. So I get it, and Daniel's doing the same thing, right? Daniel at Wisana, we have to buy his stock, by the way. But Daniel at Wisana, he's like, Whiz, anything with the FDA. Exactly. The FDA, Whiz, can't do anecdotal, man. It's got to be clinical. It's got to be, well, this study, this double-blind study, this, and the placebo, and I get it. They, yeah, but here's the difference, guys. But in this space, there's going to be people like who? Me. There's going to be people like Nicole. There's going to be people like the No Fallen Heroes Project. There's going to be people like Navy SEALs. There's going to be people that, guess what, will keep it grounded in the sacredness. I think one of the reasons this is working for a guy like me or a guy like, Marcus Luttrell or JT is the sacredness of it and the uniqueness. Whiz, you want to go to Mexico with some SEALs and do some drugs? Fuck yeah, I do. I had no idea what I was getting in for. Now I do. So I think the more a VA jumps in with their size 12 boots and big pharma and kind of does the, hey, take this pill and, you'll be cured in a weekend, it will fail. It will fail. Why? 5% of the medicine is done on site. 95% of the medicine is done where? In the integration. And if Americans want to sit here and, hey, give me this and I want to be done by Monday. Or I don't have 4 to 6 hours to do on a journey. You got an hour. So we can fit more people into the clinic. I get that's going to happen, guys. I'm not fucking stupid. What I'm pointing out to you is that it will fail. I am doing my job as a red team. Thank God I brought Nicole to this conference because she pointed out all the sacredness and stuff that we would lose. That's going to happen. I guarantee you. That's why our project and me, I ain't going to do that. I read this before I left the stage. I said, hey, by the way, Friday night, when we did our fire ceremony and went upstairs, a monk who I followed for the past couple years as I found my spiritualness again died. The guy whose quote that I use all the time died as I went up the stairs. This is me. I took a picture of this Monday before we left the house because they didn't tell me until Monday morning that he died because they didn't want it to, no phones, man, no outside, anything. Veterans are the light at the tip of the candle, illuminating the way for the whole nation. If veterans can achieve awareness, transformation, understanding, and peace, they can share with the rest of society the realities of war, and they can teach us how to make peace with ourselves and each other so we never have to use violence to resolve conflicts again. And I left the stage. So, just absolutely incredible day. One of the best days I've had in a while. And that obviously didn't look like a best day. This is our gray day, man. When I got my ass kicked. Got all my pictures of my family and my sister and me as a kid. And it's just. So anyway, I hate talking about investing, but guess what? If we can save lives, if we can help people help people peel? No. Heal, we got to do it. So I don't even know where to begin. Well, I'll begin with what Mr. Wonderful said. He's like, don't invest in anything other than Mind Meditai and Compass for now. I don't think he said Cybin. The Cybin CEO was on. He gave his own speech and then was on a panel. He didn't strike me as I don't know. But anyway, I remember sitting at the table going, "Thank God I'm in an ETF." What I saw at that conference, I'll use this analogy again because I proved it at this conference. I was using this analogy just because it sounded good and I felt it. Now I proved it. Psychedelics are the internet 1999. This is 1999 internet. You know it's going to be massive. You just don't know what it's going to look like. Here we are 22, 23 years later. You got a Google, you got an Amazon, right? You don't have a Netscape, you don't have a pets.com. So down there, it definitely was a little bit of the Wild West, but not. Every presentation that I saw blew me away with the science. So the science is there. And it was really cool because I said this in Houston when I went to a fundraiser a couple weeks ago for the University of Texas Dell School of Medicine, the psychedelic medicine wing. Because this doctor was boring everybody. He was good for 15 minutes, and then I could tell he was losing the people. I'm like, literally the Holy Spirit moved me to stand up. I stood up and I went to him. I'm like, Doc, this is awesome. Because you're bridging the gap or trying to bridge the gap between what? Science and me. I'm anecdotal. Changed my life, fill in the blanks. But you guys, gals, on the right side of the fence are like breaking it down into molecules and this and like. But guess what, folks? They're absolutely, here's all us over here with all our anecdotal and life-saving, holy shit, I'm better. And here's all the booger eaters and the studies and the FDA and science. I guarantee you this gap will never be filled. Because in that gap is God, is truth, is source, is divine. Because in these a lot of these presentations the other day, they kept hitting something. Well, we're it's just, and as booger eaters with their slide rules, that's how old I am, slide rules. They get up to a frustrated point where they just kind of scratch their heads, and that's when I smile and go, "Hey, man, relax." Unless that's exactly what God wants for us to find it, not she or he, it, our source. So this, ladies and gentlemen, right in that center point right there between science and the no fallen heroes dudes and ladies is where divinity is. I guarantee you, I feel it. So, wow, that was 28 minutes. You probably didn't expect to happen, but I had to tell you that. So, didn't blow off whoever asked that 28 minutes ago. What about MindMed? I don't know. Shook the hands of the MindMed CEO. Seems like a good dude. Who knows? I don't know. What I do know is it's 1999. There's pets.com, Amazon, everything I just gave you the analogy to. I don't need to repeat myself. So I don't know, man. Some of the private companies, Daniel's one of the only companies, Canada and the United States, that the FDA is giving MDMA approval. Dr. Kaufman, Navy flight surgeon for 30 years, man, who's part of our No Fallen Heroes project, doing an active, I didn't say veteran, I said active duty study. So this is coming. We're in accelerated retirement, so let me talk retirement. This is the only space, as I sit here in Boca with my cup of coffee today, I would invest anything bullish. Anything. Now, it was interesting because a lot of people from the stage are like, this is tough. Now let's go over to here. This is a tough environment to be in. And I finally pressed one of my buddies to the point like, dude, why can't you help us with this funding? He's like, Whiz, I got to be honest, man. I've gotten my ass kicked. The CEO of, who was it? Atai? The CEO of Atai, because somebody in the audience was like, why is the psychedelic industry getting hammered over the past 6 months or whatever? And the dude kind of chuckled. He's like, what are you, new? He's like, there's war in Europe, which nobody ever thought we'd be talking about. The interest rate, inflation is through the roof. Of course, I'm sitting there like, do you want me to get on stage? Or okay, you guys got that. We're going to headline this event next year. That first look should have led this conference. I would have opened that conference with a fucking bang. Instead, I'm on at 5 o'clock where I had to go grab people who look like they're like, okay, when are we going to party? So it's a tough environment to be raising money in when people are getting destroyed by inflation, by the Fed, by fill in the blank, supply chain issues. I did my pre-call yesterday for this time next week. I'm going to be stepping off a plane in Colorado. No, I'll be landing in Vermont. Tuesday, I'm flying up to Colorado Springs to do a speech, a keynote for Whirlpool. And the pre-call I did yesterday, wow, the supply chain issues they briefed me on with appliances. And guess what people are doing? People ain't buying appliances now. What are they doing? Services. I'm not buying a new freaking dishwasher. Please come and fix this. Well, guess what? You need to fix stuff, parts, and dudes and ladies to go turn a wrench. Well, you can't find dudes and ladies to turn a wrench because you got to pay. By the way, the service trucks, they don't run on freaking electricity right now. I got to pay for fuel. Wow. This is why I love doing my keynote speaking that I'm going to get back into, man, because this is also Axe Capital and Gordon Gekko. This was another advantage of you being a Top Gun Options member, is because I get intel into everything. The keynotes I did in the past for drug industries, for Fidelity, I got to see into every industry and see what was going on. And I feel great because I'm back, because I'm getting to see clarity into all of this stuff. But anyway, short story long, could not be more bullish on this sector. But you have got to, you got to just, we got to figure it out. Okay. I literally, it's over there. I literally have a stack of business cards. I ran out of business cards. It was insane. So we, you, me, us, are going to have to figure a lot of this stuff out on our own. But at a high level, I tried to get, after Mr. Wonderful left the stage, of course, he wanted to stay until 5 o'clock to watch my thing, but, he kind of shuffled off. I'm like, dude, I needed it. I had my iPad ready, and I just needed to say, give me 4 minutes of your time, dude. But I hate that. I hate looking like cheesy Klingon dude. He's going to come to us. I guarantee you he's going to come to us. We will be an attractor. I told these people, when people got off the stage, and here's the testament to the production team who bust their ass to make that first look. Here's a testament to them, because most of the people were like, when can I see it? It's done, right? I mean, I'm like, no. We need money, man. This is a capital conference. I'm here to raise money to help us finish the project. And they're like, oh my God, the production values, it looks like it's all done. I'm like, I wish it was. We're still, no. So Lee's like, that's exactly the effect we wanted. And we're actually, so this isn't a documentary anymore. Tomorrow morning, I actually have a call with Lucy. Her name just went out of my head. Two-time Oscar nominee. Doc Martine introduced us to Lucy. She shot at the Mission Within like a month before we did. She is doing a documentary on Iboga. And she went to Gabon. She actually got initiated. She did the medicine, but she's focusing on the history and the addiction properties. And Martine's like, I briefed her on you guys and veterans, and she's blown away. She's like, oh my God, we didn't even mention veterans. So I don't know. I'll talk to her tomorrow and their production team. But here's what I'm getting at is we're not a documentary. We're not going to sit here and be dry. Well, the Iboga route came. I'd rather put a bullet in my head. We're not doing that. And it's more of a theatrical, right? Because I told the people from the stage, I'm like, you guys want psychedelic, everything you briefed today, you want this to become mainstream and politicians to get on board with it. This is the project to do it. We will be the unifying event in the psychedelic space, I guarantee you. When the average American goes, holy shit, Rangers, Navy SEALs, EOD, fighter pilots, air crew are doing this to heal, and we're forced to send them overseas to healing. That's a disgrace. Yeah, it is. So that's why I have to sit here for the next day and a half and answer and email and talk. I can't even look at my inbox, man. It's nuts. Lucy Walker, thanks, Sledge. So, man, that was a fucking workout. I didn't expect to do all this, but there you go. There's your 36-minute debrief on everything that happened in Miami. Invited to a bunch of after parties, and I had zero interest in doing that. It's just not my scene. Of course, Daniel and Cody. Yeah, I'm like, you know what, man? Because Susie's in Detroit with Jack at a hockey thing this whole weekend, and I got Keely, and I'm like, nah, I'm good, man. So kind of bailed out of all the after parties, which I'm glad I did because, not doing the drinking thing and people starting to get some airspeed on the jet at that reception afterwards. I'm like, time to exit, man. I did a George Costanza. I'm out of here. You got to end on a high note. So it was great. Anyway, I could not be more bullish on all of this. I'm working on getting to Governor DeSantis because he's behind, and he doesn't like being behind, does he, with other states, especially Governor Abbott in Texas. Psychedelics, and again, I like using the word entheogen because I sound like I'm smart. And it's an SAT word. And of course, as you say psychedelic, everybody goes nuts. DeSantis has to wake up. I mean, when the state of Maryland passes a law that says veterans, we'll pay grant money for you to go to Mexico for treatment. What a disgrace. The VA. Did everybody listen? Did everybody listen to the podcasts? 24 and 25. Smurf ejecting, essentially supersonic, and then being locked up in an insane asylum. Frickin' VA, pumping him full of drugs and signing stuff. It's a tale of horror and recovery, and he found the medicine. So I could not be more blessed to have Smurf on board our project as well. Oh, he showed. Is it still on my story? No, it went away. He had a picture of him yesterday. I think was his anniversary day or something like that. So on my story was him the day after the ejection in the ER ICU, and he doesn't even look human. It's insane. So, oh, no kidding. They have that? Hey, look at that. No way, dude, you rock. Oh my God, man. I was wondering. Oh, you're awesome. Oh, there it is. Dude, you're awesome. Wow. All right, guys. So let's find when I get on. Wow. This is great. Can you guys hear this? If not, we'll mark the time, and I got to get this to our production team. 8:02. All right, don't worry about it. Well, let's not. So everybody write down the time. 8:02. Where's my 8:02:21? Well, you don't have to listen to me talk about it. 802 02 21. Is that it? Is that the marker? Oh yeah, and he oh my God, that was funny. So it was, again, people are like sitting there 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I started, oh, this is awesome. This is great. Hold on, guys. I got to write some shit down here because I was wondering when they were going to post this. Hang on. Um, uh, let me, hold on, guys. Sorry, this is just big because I got to get this because the whatchamacallit team was like trying to, because these guys are at this conference and they will well, Gene, it's the links in the chat box, and 8, it's in there, guys. 802. I'll see if my team can pull just our clip off of it because we're gonna uh, all right, hang on 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 sec, guys. I'll be right back. All right, guys. You know what? Let's because I got an 11 o'clock hard stop. What I was going to talk about the rest of the time was, either picking a handful of the names in here to be bullish on, or just get into the ETFs. One of the ETF companies gave the brief, and it was pretty cool because that's essentially what they said. They're like, "Hey, man, well, I'm not going to repeat myself. They said what I said. Get into the ETF instead of trying to pick a couple winners." But Mr. Wonderful, I like the way he thinks because his exact quote was, "I have a lot of money in these three companies," and not enough to be, quote, a controlling shareholder, but he said they need to merge. They're like, with big pharma coming in, these companies need to get together. So that's not insider information. He's at a conference and he said this. I predict, and I will just fly formation behind Mr. Wonderful, that those companies merge, or at least a couple of them merge. That only makes sense because this is what the pharma guy said to me. He's like, this is biotech. There's no such thing as a psychedelic space. You can't break it up because this is all biotech because of what? These are insanely capital intensive what? Experiments in this and regulations. He's like, so these companies suck money. They suck money in the hopes of what? A breakthrough this, the FDA goes that, an explosion, right? So MindMed, Atai, Compass, all the big ones, Cybin, they're sucking money like crazy. So it only makes sense, ladies and gentlemen, for them to merge and become a behemoth, especially if Merck, Pfizer, Moderna, all these companies when they jump into it. So, yeah, Mark, so here's the best thing about this. I told you about my trip to Houston. I told you about Jesse Lepre, who is best friends with Dakota Meyer. I'm trying to, he pretty much, well, I'm not making promises. I'm not talking out of my ass. Let's just say we might have a Medal of Honor recipient who, well, that is talking out of my ass. I'm not going to say another word. What I am going to say is that Justin Lepre took from Doc Martine all the legal paperwork and all the work he's done to make this what? Not to make it anything. You ready for this? And Mark's an attorney or a smart guy, but here's if you use psychedelic medicine because you believe that helps you connect to your God and you use it for spiritual shit, they can kiss my fucking ass. This country was founded on religious freedom. So all the court cases I've looked at, all of the courts defer to what? Now, if you're caught in a Miami nightclub with 8 pounds of this shit, it ain't a church, clearly. But Justin Lapre building this center outside of Austin with horses and using entheogens for spiritual purposes, it's legal. It ain't illegal. I guarantee you. Doc's like, yeah, I've lost time. I don't have time to do the whole church route of this. But it's called Heroic Path to Light. And there are organizations in this country right now that use entheogens as we do. And Uncle Sam just kind of, you ready? Uncle Sam can't do anything. I would love to be arrested and dragged into court. I am more spiritual now than 52 years of being I wasn't a Catholic for 52 years. I lost my faith for half my life, as you guys know. I am back. Love it. Come and get me, prosecutor. Are you shitting me? Saving lives, and it's illegal? Whoever the fuck wrote the sentence, Schedule 1 and has no therapeutic use, has never done it or seen what we're doing with it. So you can kiss my ass. Anyway, Whiz, thank you. You guys did this, man. You all, I owe it to you all. You all have given me the freedom. You've seen my journey, man. You've seen me go from an absolute fucking shit show to still heal. I ain't done, man. I will never be done until I'm one again with our creator, our source, our divine. I got my bad days and my good days and my medium days, but I promise you, I am busting my ass to try and heal and help others heal. My wife, my family, everybody that I can through the grace of God and this project. So let me do that, man. I am super excited. AP, you get it. Send me your address, man. I want to send you a book or something like that. Thank you for finding this, because I need to get this to the production team and a bunch of people, because they were trying to make this a part of our social media stuff. There goes the S&P 500. Really don't care about that right now, but let me give you my overall brief. Up, down, up, down. That's what's going to happen. Mariupol's going to fall, and Soviet Union is going to establish a foothold in the east, and then this is going to be a long, drawn-out war, and he's going to use tactical nukes. I guarantee it. We have an absolute shit show coming in this market and in the United States. As you guys know, we nailed it. We don't need to do a victory lap, but I will. The dude who told you a year and a half ago Joe Biden's sophomore year would be a shit show, it would be a recession and a bear market, was right, and it's going to get worse, get bearish. Anyway, guys, you got BART tomorrow. If you're not in BART tomorrow, you're failing. You need to register for BART's free brief that's going to be when I head up to Vermont for Matthew's graduate. I can't believe Matthew's graduating from college. I want to die. So Bart's going to do that Monday, May 2nd. So please sign up for Bart's free brief. It's going to be 1 o'clock on a Monday, May 2nd. And then he'll do a free brief at 7 to show you some of his doji reverse handle, cup handle, Egyptian pyramid twists. And then you got to sign up for it. John, your bad days now have a different meaning. You know what, John? I misspoke. I never have a bad day anymore. I thought I did. First of all, with the suffering going on in the world, how dare that I even think that I have a bad day? I am blessed. I am grateful for you, for everything that I have. I don't have a bad day. And before the medicine, I actually thank God for all of those bad days. I thank God for that moment lying on a fucking bathroom floor screaming out, "Why have you abandoned me?" type of thing, man, because I am here. All right. Well, let's end on a high note. There's your high note, man. All right. I got a lot of shit to do. Be with Bart tomorrow. If I have any trades or anything through the rest of the day as I'm talking to these people and MindMed and anything like that, I will blast it out. AR doesn't have text and email alerts, so I think the the service with the most people in it is the primary live trade brief. So I'll send out text or emails with that, because I got a lot of shit to do to dig into this sector, man. This was definitely, I hate this. I will say it because I'm half Axe Capital Gordon Gecko. This was an Axe Capital Gordon Gecko moment. I have a stack of shit that I put in my computer bag, all these handouts and this company and that offering and this patent. I got to dig in all of it. The other half of this is we are doing good. We are doing good. I'm going to be on the camp that stays spiritual and life-saving. I ain't going to be on the booger eater profit side, but I'll help you guys out make money. All right, I got to get going. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless. God bless all of us. Namaste and fights on. I thank God for all of you, and thank you for supporting me, our project, and allowing us to do this stuff, okay? All right, guys, fights on, and I'll talk to you next week.